Good evening and welcome to The Playing Field, the only sports show in Oswego County where we debate the biggest issues in sports. I'm your host, Matt Bishop, and joining me tonight are Matt Stone and Mitch Lamb. Boys, after 6 weeks of the NFL season, there are 7 teams sitting at 3-3, and there are 9 teams sitting at 4-2 or better. The playoff picture is anything but certain at this point, which is great for fans who live for playoff pushes in December. Yes, Dallas, I'm looking at you. Matt, who are your 4 wildcard teams at this point of the season?
My 4 wildcard teams at this point in the AFC, I like Kansas City, just based solely off the fact that they're 6-0. It seems as though they're going to be able to win the last wildcard after I'm assuming Denver's going to win that division. And I also like the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I know struggled today, played the Packers. Obviously, the Packers lost Cobb and Jones, which hurt them. And then in the NFC, I like Green Bay to make the playoffs, and I also like the 49ers. You figure the loser of the Seahawks and the 49ers division should get an extra wildcard spot.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on 2 counts, Stone. I like your Kansas City pick. Basically, it's the loser of the AFC West. And right now, I think Denver's going to win that division, so I'm going to put Kansas City in my AFC wildcard picture. And I also agree with San Francisco pick. That's a great pick there. However, for the second wildcard team in the AFC, I go with Miami, 3-2, got 1 less loss, also coming off a bye week.
Could you be any more of a homer?
They have a really easy schedule
You had it
coming
really easy with New England twice.
They still have
They've got to play the
very
Bills.
easy. They still have a very easy schedule coming up. And then my second NFC team is Detroit. Right now at top of the division, 4-2, tied with Chicago. I see Chicago taking it. Green Bay just lost too much today. They lost Randall Cobb and James Jones to knee injuries. I think that's too much for them. I think Detroit takes that wild card spot now.
That's fair, but you say with Miami,
Yeah.
I mean, you got New England twice.
Mhm.
You have the Ravens in the mix.
Yep.
You have the Bengals. If they don't win the division, they'll be in the mix. I know Houston falling off at 2-4. The Miami still has to play, 5-6 division games left, and regardless of how good of a team you are, you always lose some division games. They're tough games to play. You have to play New England twice, and New England just beat New Orleans today, the best team, one of the 2 best teams in the NFL.
Yeah, finally some sign of life out of New England.
They were 4-1.
barely 4-1.
They were 4-1.
Stone.
It doesn't
they were
matter.
barely 4-1.
We'll get to New England later. Mitch, let's go to the Texans
All
in
right.
Houston. They were supposed to make the playoffs at the beginning of the year.
Yes,
and
they
now
were.
they're just a sorry excuse for an NFL team. What's next for them in the Matt Schaub saga in Houston?
Well, Matt Schaub got injured today. He has an ankle issue. We don't know the severity of the injury at this point in time.
TJ Yates.
TJ Yates came in today, finished the game, threw a pick 6, by the way, so that didn't help anything.
Just consistent backup.
Yeah. If I'm Houston, I go with Schaub when he's ready to return, and then I look to the draft or free agency. That's keep continuity. Schaub's gotten you to the playoffs twice. He can do it when he has to. He will get to the playoffs. If he can get to the playoffs, he's proven he can get to the playoffs.
He's
Go
proven he
to
can
the
get to
draft
the
and the free
playoffs.
agency.
He's proven he can get to the playoffs.
That's better than most quarterbacks in the NFL.
That's not going to get it done, though, when you have a defense like Houston does. And that's not going to
A defense that got annihilated by Sam Bradford.
When you have a
and
running back
St.
like
Louis
Arian
Rams.
Foster, last 2 postseason trips for the Texans, you beat Cincinnati, big whoop. Andy Dalton on the road. They beat the Bengals twice, and they were bounced in the next round. Schaub is not a
Getting
franchise
to the
quarterback.
playoffs is still better than
But
most
you know
teams
what?
do
With
in
the
NFL.
defense that they have and the
Which
running
gave
back
up,
that they have,
gave up 31 points, discounting
it's
a
not
pick
helping when
6.
it's not helping when Schaub's throwing pick 6 and putting the defense.
You're talking about the
Today's one
defense
game,
wasn't
they're
in a
good
position to
defense.
fail.
Is this
The defense
Schaub's fault or is this Kubiak's fault?
This is Kubiak's
This is
fault.
Schaub's
No, this
fault.
is the defensive coordinator's fault today,
give me
especially.
a
They gave up 31 points to the St. Louis Rams.
Mitch,
Who's
when you
their
have the
running
talent,
back?
when you have the
Who is their
talent-
running back?
The
Who is
St.
this-
Louis Rams?
Yeah, can you name
Regardless,
it?
Daryl Richardson.
No,
played
he
today.
was not the main
Injured.
rusher
But
today.
that's not the point. The point is that Houston has the best running back, in my opinion, Arian Foster, in the NFL. And with J.J. Watt, J.J. Swat on defense, they should be a perennial powerhouse in the AFC. Who besides Denver scares you in the AFC right now?
Let's
Kansas
talk
City,
about
New
let's
England.
talk about New England. They may be sitting
Miami
in
won
the
the
top of the
division.
AFC East at 5-1, but it's all well in the locker room. Reports have come out this week that the Patriots teammates are frustrated that Rob Gronkowski still hasn't played a snap this season. Gronk has practiced the past 3 weeks, which has prompted fantasy owners to play the waiting game on whether or not Gronk would be on the field. Mitch, when are we going to see Gronk on the field, and how is this affecting the locker room?
I honestly think that Gronkowski will play next week. Full reports coming out of Mortensen, Edwarder, reports from guys in New England, local ESPN radio guys, are saying that Gronk is running routes, blocking, pass blocking, run blocking, and catching balls and running downfield, stiff arming, doing all of that. So he should be good to go. I would see how this would frustrate teammates. If you're playing in close games and games that really you could use some offensive firepower, obviously if Gronk's doing that in practice, you want him in the game. I think he plays next week.
Well, not only is he playing in practice, according to reports, but he is dominating in practice.
Yeah.
So I think the real question is, first of all, New England needed basically a choke job by New Orleans on the last drive to not be aggressive and put this game away, because you cannot give Brady 3 chances to run a 2-minute drive or he'll beat you like he did. We saw a lot of drops again from the Patriots receivers today. So my question for you is, without Gronk, is this a playoff team? And with Gronk, how much better are they?
Well, you're proving they are a playoff team now because they're still 4-1 without him. However, with him, they become exponentially better. They did lose Amendola.
He should be coming back.
Yes, they did lose Amendola to a head injury, and that's huge because he's been proven to be their most consistent wideout. However, with Gronk, they become five times better.
Well,
but
they're already
not on the level
they're
of
already
Denver.
5-1. They're on top of the AFC East. Are they going to get kicked off the AFC East with Gronk coming back?
No, absolutely not. Not this year.
Well, you're saying that Miami's going to grab a
We're
wild
going
card,
to
so
win the
obviously-
wild card, yeah.
You know he's a homer when he says we. Anyways.
I said are going to win
No,
the
you said
wild
we.
card.
I heard a
You
we.
said we. I heard a we.
All right,
Keep
whatever.
going.
Anyways, Mitchell, Gronkowski, if he comes to this New England offense, automatically they get exponentially dynamic. They got to win today. They beat the Saints, a team that was 5-0, a team that was undefeated. Granted, at home, they beat them today. Tom Brady won with the likes of Aaron Dobson and Kenbrell Tompkins, an injured Danny Amendola. I mean, you put Gronkowski in this team, and this is the second best team in the AFC.
Can they
besides the Denver
beat the
Broncos.
Broncos with Gronk in the lineup?
No, their defense is too faulty. Denver's got too much weapons, too much firepower, and Peyton Manning.
Listen, I love Peyton, but you know what? I haven't seen him in the playoffs in his career. We've seen him time and time again.
He's
So
won a Super Bowl.
Brady has won 3 and should have
And-
won
and
2 more if
lost-
it wasn't
nope,
for David
should've, but
Tyree
he
and Mario
didn't.
Manningham.
Should have, but he didn't.
Their defense beat Drew Brees today, and Drew Brees has put on a quiet but great year. So, I mean, if you guys can say all you want that they can't beat Peyton, it's going to be interesting in a few weeks.
Definitely.
Let's move on to Philadelphia, where Michael Vick was active today, but didn't get in the game against the Bucs. Coach Chip Kelly started Nick Foles. Vick dressed as the emergency quarterback, but wasn't needed as Foles threw for 3 touchdowns and nearly 300 yards. Matt, should Foles start next week?
I know Mitch does not agree with me, but yes, Nick Foles should start next week. You saw what he did with the offense today. Granted, it was against Tampa Bay, but you know what? Here's my issue. Vic is going to continually to get injured. He gets injured. That's just who he is. We've seen it throughout his career. He's not going to be healthy for the long term. And now, is Nick Foles your long-term career quarterback or your franchise quarterback? Probably not if you're an Eagles fan. That's why you went out and got Matt Barkley in the draft. I know that
Is
Chip
Matt
Kelly.
Barkley
where's
your
he been?
long-term
No.
guy?
Well, on the bench, you give him a couple years to develop. You don't rush him in right away. You see what Foles gave you today. With the talent around him, with the Deshaun Jackson, with Shady McCoy, who's been absolutely a beast this year.
Jeremy
He's been a
Maclin, who's
monster.
injured.
Macklin's injured. But you know what? This is a wide open division. And with Foles, I think the Eagles have a better chance to win the division than they do with Vic. Because Vic is not going to stay healthy. And you know what? If you get to week 14, 15, and Vic is 50%, 60%, you're not going to bench him for Foles if you're right in the mix of the playoff mix. Foles is going to stay healthy. He's not going to get beaten up. He's going to sit in the pocket. The Eagles line's been a suspect, but we saw today he can sit in the pocket, he can throw the football around, and he's going to give the Eagles the best chance to win.
But Mitch, Vic isn't on the Eagles to sit on the bench. He's not
No,
getting paid to
he's
sit
not.
on the bench.
He's not. He's getting paid to play, and which is what he should do. This offense was made for someone with Mike Vick's talents. It is made around a quarterback who can run the ball as well as pass. You're right, Nick Foles is a pocket passer, but guess what? When that line collapses, he's not going to go anywhere, and he's not going to be able to avoid the hits, and he's going to get hit, and he will get hurt eventually. It's going to happen. When Vic comes back from the hamstring injury, he should be the starter. This is his offense. This was made for him. He has proven he can run it and run it very, very well.
Well, let me
After
ask
the
you-
break, Matt and Mitch are going to give us their top 5 in the BCS after a wild weekend of college football. Stay tuned. You're watching The Playing Field on WTOP.
I got no balls for losing.
Shocking drugs that roll all the time. Just had a few drinks. This can't be happening.
Are we clear?
Clear.
We're just buzzed.
Just buzzed. You didn't tell us that, sir. You're right. This isn't happening. You'll be fine.
I feel good.
Really?
No, not really.
Buzz driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
Shotgun?
We're here for you, we're here for you. This is your channel 2. With sports and news and what to do, we're here for you. It's your TV, you're watching WTLP. Your TV, thanks for watching WTLP.
Attention students and faculty. Avery Rental Properties is now renting for the next school year. Avery accommodates all group sizes, small or large. Avery Rental Properties. Make our house your home. 24-hour maintenance, garbage removal, snow removal, and off-street parking. Avery Rental Properties. 315-343-5005.
The forest is precious. One careless act caused by people, and its beauty could be gone for a lifetime. Protect our friends in the forest.
Only you can prevent wildfire.
Welcome back. On Monday, the BCS poll will be released in the NCAA. After all the upsets in the AP poll over the weekend, Matt, who are your top 5?
Mitch, my top 5 in the BCS standings as of today goes Alabama number 1, Oregon number 2. I like Clemson at number 3, Florida State and famous Jameis at number 4, and the Ohio State Buckeyes rounding out for me in the top 5.
We have the same 5 teams. We have a slightly different order. I go Bama 1, I go Oregon 2, I go Ohio State 3, Clemson falls to 4, and Florida State 5. The reason I move Ohio State up that far, they have the longest winning streak right now in Division I history, and Clemson just recently got scared this Saturday. They had not scored a touchdown this first half. The computer takes all sorts of stats like that into effect. I think that drops Clemson down to 4.
However, I think what you're missing here is Ohio State. What's their signature win? Over Northwestern on the road.
Yep.
That big game.
At Northwestern.
What did Northwestern do last week?
This weekend, like Saturday,
They got
toasted. Annihilated.
They got
by
toasted. So now
Wisconsin.
all of a sudden that win doesn't look that good. Yeah, Clemson struggled. You know
Well,
what? It was a conference game on the road. BCS caliber teams, BCS championship caliber teams win those games.
Ohio State didn't struggle on the road. They struggled defensively, but
Against
they put up
Northwestern,
points.
that was a very close game, obviously.
Which one of your 5 teams is the first one to get knocked out of the top 5?
Ooh. I think Florida State, famous Jameis freshman. I think somewhere down the road,
Well,
maybe
Florida
when
State
they
and
play
Clemson have to play in a
Yep,
couple weeks.
either against
Yeah.
Clemson or Miami. I think he makes a slip up there. I think one of those 2 teams capitalize and he falls
I
out
like
of top
Clemson
5.
to go all the way, so I think Florida State's going to be that team that would lose. I thought it would be Oregon against Washington this week. I was wrong on that one.
Marcus
so definitely
Mariota
something
is
to watch.
on another
Yeah,
level.
Mariota
this year.
hasn't thrown a pick this year.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Mitch, a lot of big upsets on Saturday this weekend. Who had the biggest upset, in your opinion?
You know what? I got to go for the Utes. Utah Utes upset number 5, Stanford in Utah. I